Hello, everyone. In this module, we are going to discuss study tools and techniques that you can use to help yourself in your educational. These are the common techniques you'll find that people discuss. Techniques such as chunking and recall, techniques on memory training, and using analogies and visualizations. So, what is a chunk? Chunk is just a small piece of information that you can remember at a time. And as you build on lots and lots of chunks and you make them connected to each other, basically you're able to remember a large amount of study material. What is memory training? It's just a way to remember things and how by and by, as you practice more, you are able to recall what you studied before. They say that if you go to a lecture for 45 minutes, you may remember the initial part of it and you may remember the end of it, but you are likely to forget the middle portion of the lecture. So there are ways that help memory training, and note taking is one of them. Analogies and visualization are also ways to remember things, to associate things with things that you are familiar with, to remember abstract concepts and new ideas. So, how does chunking work? Basically, you have to form a chunk of information, and what you have to do is after you have formed it, you have to try recalling the same chunk, and you will have to link ideas between things. Basically, for example, if you are trying to remember something around biology or some concepts from chemistry, you have to remember things in smaller parts first. And then, as you are able to associate those ideas with each other and recall them, often you will be able to remember the chunks. How often should you do recall of this material you have studied? Well, recall can be done as often as you like, depending on the level of mastery you want on a subject material. You can try practicing recall every night before you go to sleep, or every time you are not really studying. You may be commuting, or you may be uh, doing some other tasks, other errands or chores around your house. That's when you can try to do recall of this. What is the memory training then? It's more about training your memory to be able to retain things, taking information from your short term memory to place it in a long term memory. Spaced repetition helps with long term memory retention. So basically, if you remember things for a certain subject that you are studying on Monday morning and then Tuesday evening, then Thursday morning, so you have given enough space in between the repetition, but bit by bit, it will help you remember things. And it also has to do with your willpower and how you are able to use it to remember things. Analogies and visualization are some of the techniques people talk about when they speak of helping students remember things. So there is a thing called memory palace, where basically you build a palace in your memory and you place certain things in each of one of the rooms or each one of the locations in that palace, and that helps you remember a longer thing. Another thing is story building, so associating concepts with things in your day-to-day life and building a story around it. The story can have characters from your family, it can have characters from your school, from your friends, from your pets, and basically you visualize things and create vivid examples of things that helps you retain things in a better manner, because it's very easy to remember a story compared to remembering an abstract concept or new definitions. What are the tools that you can use? Well, you don't have to go out and buy any of the fancy materials or expensive tools. All you can do is you can use what you have with you. A clock is a common thing that pretty much everyone would have. And looking at the clock when you start your studies and reminding yourself that you will be studying for a certain amount of time before you take a break. And when you take a break, you give yourself a few minutes of time to return back to this. You can use sticky notes and place sticky notes around your desk and remind yourself of tasks that are incomplete and tasks for the same things we discussed earlier for memory training, for space repetition, things like that. And a notebook with a pen or pencil to note down any of the new things that are coming up in your head. And basically, you can also use a notebook and write when you try to recall things. That also helps a lot of times. And of course, the study material that you want to study could be part of the tools that you use. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And here are the papers I studied in order to create this presentation. As you see, these studies are about memory span, improving learners, at-risk learners, and then pen is mightier than the keyboard. This study in particular talked about how writing down your notes is better for remembering things than longhand over a laptop note taking. So longhand writing on the piece of paper is a better thing to do to remember than just laptop note. Space retrieval practice paper also spoke about how uh, arranging quizzes during the semester in a way that helps them retrieve things on us on particular time period helps learning and remembering drug names to pharmacists. And there are a couple of other studies about memory and optimizing understanding of a subject matter. Thank you.